Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Wednesday, the 9th of April. I am Flatcap Callum and I'm hoping you are all, just adjust my screen, very, very well. All right? The roller coaster is still on the incline. We will carry on. We'll carry on while the roller coaster is on the incline. But we all know if you've ever been on a roller coaster, what happens on the roller coaster is it goes back down, and often it can go back down very fast and sharp. So please be this good English as your health warning, folks. It's been a nice couple of weeks we've been on. No jackpots or out like that, but we are winning more days than we are losing, which is not necessarily how it is on average on the channel, because the point is not the point, but we normally lose more days than we win, and we win on the days, the days we win outweigh the losses on the days we've lost. But at the moment, we are winning more than we're losing over the last couple of weeks. So just go canny. That's what I'm saying to you folks. Go canny. All right. We'll do the review of Tuesday. There was only 2 horses. And then for Wednesday, we're bringing something back that we haven't had on the channel, as far as my records say, since the 20th of December. For those of you who are, real die-hard flat cappers, I'll ramble on for a bit and let you work out what that might be, and then I'll tell you about the bet. All right, so review. Mason. I mean, he tried. And to be fair, that was a cracking effort from stall 10 at Pontefract over 5. I mentioned a horse that got right snatched up, Ventura Express, I think it was, who's had a great record from stall 1. The horse in stall 2 won this time. Stall 1 and stall 2, absolutely a bias on the 5 furlongs there. It's not insurmountable depending on how the race unfolds from a wide draw, but the rail had it, and Mason did a great job at getting that horse sort of round the bend and near the front to give it every possible chance, but ultimately he lost the head bobber for 3rd. So Paddy and Sky, as advised, did pay out for intervention on 4th. Those of you didn't use them, and the channel doesn't count because we only take it if it's by 3 bookmakers. So no return for the channel. Then the Truant, absolutely great stuff. Robert Weirty had 2 winners on the day at Navan, and that was the biggest price winner, SP at 12-1 of the whole day, which tells you it was a bit of a shorties day, not necessarily a favourites day, but a shorties day. So we came out of it with a nice winner. So that's 4 horses this week and 2 winners, so can't complain. Or five horses total, 4 starred horses. 350 on, 940 back for the day. So no, giant gigantic sums there. But that puts us £5 and something up for the week. £11 is the Wednesday stake. But yeah, that win strike rate. I keep talking about win like strike rates, but the win strike rate, I checked back. I think it got to 7. I can't remember 7. I haven't got my bit of paper. It's 7 or 8 winners out of the last 55. I think it's 7. And basically, if you back them all on the nose, discounting any rule 4s, which there probably might have been, but if you back them all on the nose, you'd have doubled your money on all those. That is above average. So what I'm telling you is at some point we will go on a period of variance. That's mathematical stuff that basically says we've had a nice run, therefore it has to have followed by at some point a less than average run. So I'm telling you I'm operating at the moment above average. At some point it will go below average. It balances it out. That is variance. That's a mathematical thing. You can't stay on a good streak forever. It always comes to the end, no matter what anyone tells you, however confident they might believe they are or say they are, it will come to the end. So and in this kind of gig, you're only as good as your last day. Like, it's all good and well in it Tuesday, putting out 2 and one of them's starred and that one goes and wins at 12-1 and it's the best price of the day. You look like a hero. I'm going to give you a bunch now. They could all be losers, and then literally everyone's going to be like, who's this guy chuntering on about 5 no-hopers? Right, here's the bet. What am I bringing back that's been missing, I think since the 20th of December? A split leg Yankee. That is what we've got. 5 horses, 4 races, split leg Yankee. So if you've not followed since December, you won't quite know what this is. But if you experienced it betting, you might do. But I will talk you through. So £11 is total stake. 205 Nottingham. I wanted to play in that race. You've got 2 shorties at the front of the market, so you've got some good value in trying to find the horse that on theory should come third if the front 2 run to form, but we know they don't always do that. And yeah, there's more obvious ones than this one, but this is the one I've gone with, because I think currently third favourite is the Jack Shannon horse, which looks the most obvious progressive, ran once, should come on for the run type gig. I didn't want to go with that. And then there's a horse, an unraced one that was quite valuable, a Jamie Osborne horse, Nacho. He has a pretty wretched strike rate with 2-year-olds. So certainly from win point of view. So I just kind of felt he's the kind of yard I wouldn't want to go massively on in a race like that. Certainly in a maiden. So I'm going with Sharp Call, which is one of 2 Mick and David Easterby. We've been on Tim Easterby this last couple of days. We've been chatting about him. Now we're talking about Mick Easterby and David Easterby. Last time this ran, Billy Garrett was riding it. There is another horse in the race with the same trainer who Billy Garrett is riding. Now we've got Joanna Mason. I'd rather have Joanna Mason over Billy Garrett. That's my personal preference. If you basically look at stats riding for Mick Easterby, that's what the stats say to you, that you've got a slightly better amount of winners for Joanna Mason. Actually, on average, if you wanted to back purely on prices, Billy Garrett would be your man. But if you want actual amount of winners and runners for the Easterbys, Joanna Mason looks like a bit of a lean. Anyway, what I'm talking about this horse. Last time Billy Garrett ran it, it went from the front and looked slightly questionable how quickly it slowed down to the point where he was in the steward's room about it. I think it's interesting he run it on 3 novice races and they are still persisting in the kind of this sort of field where it's now going into a maiden race. So there's a part of me that believes that if the stewards have already had a conversation about it, there's 2 ways of playing it. There's one, it runs a terrible race and you go, well, do you know what, there's no reason you should have talked to us the last time because actually the horse is not very good. Or you kind of go, right, they might be watching us a little bit more and this might be a good opportunity to get a little bit of place prize money and pay for our day, because the Easterbys do send quite a reasonable amount of horses to Nottingham. So I'm hoping it's going to be the latter, and Sharp Call puts in an effort enough at 33s. Interestingly as well, Bet365, when they open their market on Tuesday, sort of late, if you go back and look this on Oddschecker, they had a very different viewpoint about the betting in the race, and they opened Sharp Call at 9-1. I think currently they've got it at 16s and most bookies have got it at 33s. So you'd be worse off with this bet definitely in total as well with 365. So Sharp Call 33s, most bookies not 365. They thought it was a 9-1 shot when the market opened. I wouldn't have had it at 9s, but I would say somewhere in between 9s and 33s is a fair price. 33s is a generous price. That's what we've gone for. 418 Leopardstown, got 2 in Ireland. Caveat, Ireland, not Ireland, it's generally the whole of Ireland. Leopardstown is a track I historically have not found very favourable when trying to work out flat races. So I'm putting that caveat out there. It's not quite a Wolverhampton for me, but it's not been a happy hunting ground on that many occasions, but I warned you. 418 Leopardstown, Port Louis, absolute rank outsider of the race. Another one where the trainer Noel Mead has got 2 in the race, and actually I feel like I'm on the one with the less preferable jockey because he's got Jamie Powell riding in, and we've got Robert Weirty, who obviously won for us yesterday. But I'd rather have Jamie Powell on between the 2 if I was just looking purely at jockeys riding for Noel Mead. That's what I would say, not necessarily judging Jamie Powell and Robert Weirty, similarly not judging Joanna Mason and Billy Garrett. Sometimes it's useful to look at the jockey for the trainer combo as opposed to just the jockey in isolation. Anyway, Port Louis looks like an absolute donkey if you actually look at the form. Absolute donkey. But now I can't get my memory right now. It's because I'm getting this mixed up with this one. This is a 7 furlong race. Port Louis is a 7 furlong race. And Is that right? That's right. I think that's right. I think I've got this right around. Yes, 7 furlong race, and it's been running over the all weather, and on soft ground, and it's basically looked like a terrible horse. The 3 best runs it ran were the 2 7 furlong races where good was in the description on turf, and the 7.5 furlong maiden it won at Roscommon, which had good in the description also. So I'm going at a bit of a leap of faith here that we've got the right conditions for the horse, which is good ground, and 7 furlongs is the right distance. So those are the 2 box tickers here. So I think, I've looked through the race, there's nothing else leaping off the page to me. So although it sort of reads to me like it could be second string on jockey bookings, clearly the jockey's in form. He had 2 winners yesterday, and yeah, I think from a handicap point of view, if you can get anywhere near the form it ran on any of those 7 furlong races last season, it's absolutely going to be competitive. It just looks waywardly out of form, so let's hope it can bounce. That's the plan. 520 Catterick, so we've got 2 in here, so the bet here is basically 2 Yankees, and the legs 1, 2 and 4 are in both, and then we've got a different leg 3 basically. So Hijacked and One of Her Own, I couldn't really split them. They're both about 10s, and shorter on in 365. Should actually say that's 33s on 365 at the time I make this video. They're 10s. Hijacked got some form fresh, so I'm not worried about it running fresh. One of Her Own has gone the obligatory. It's gone on the all-weather and done nothing off 1 run this season. At the last run last season, it was rubbish. Often horses like that get overlooked. I'd have thought that should have been a bit better price, to be honest, but I think the bookies are sort of a bit wise to that horse's chances, because normally a horse of that sort of profile has a little bit bigger in a betting market like this in a competitive race. But both of these, what they have in common is they've got lots and lots of Catterick 6 furlong form, so I wanted to play both, so that's what I'm doing. And then 525 Leopardstown, safer fad. The trainer doesn't have many horses, and he doesn't have a very good strike rate, so they're not great selling points. The horse is waywardly out of form, a bit like this one. So why have I found myself on it? Because Colin Keane is riding it, and all of its better runs are when Colin Keane has ridden it. So, and you know, he's a top jockey, and he's going to be wanting to try and win the jockey championship. And I just don't see him picking up mug rides. So the fact he's back on this horse when he hasn't been sort of tells me he thinks it's got a chance. It's not there to be an also ran. He's only run he's ran 20 times for the trainer and only won once, which is pretty terrible strike rate by Colin Keane standards. So I think he'd like to try and rectify that. But actually, again, if you go back right in the history of that one, a bit like this one, the best bit of form was over 1 mile and a furlong at Leopardstown. Albeit it was like 7th, and I think the highest it's ever finished is 6th. But if you actually look at where it was in the handicap to where it is now, it's plummeted. And so if it can get back anywhere near that form, then it's got a chance. So yeah, we've got a bit of a rogues gallery here for Wednesday's bet when you put it all together, with this one, these 2 dodgy Irish ones. Yeah, but there we go. They all hit the star system, so we could be here in 24 hours talking about how we lost 11 quid, can't we? 15p each way Yankee. So 1 Yankee, sharp call, Port Louis, hijacked, say a fad, and another Yankee, sharp call, Port Louis, One of Her Own, and safe a fad. That's 660. Deliberately, it is not just all inch-way combos, doubles, trebles, and forfeit. And the reason for that is because I've split that race. I want an equal amount of stake on each race, but I've split it between those. If I did it as just combos of 15p each way, doubles, trebles, it would mean that you would have more stake on this specific race. And I wanted the same stake on each race for the multiples. So I'm hoping that makes sense. Because it's not like that race is any better than the other races, and sometimes people sort of overlook that fact when you're doing kind of like dutching, as some people would call it, like picking a couple in a race. I don't think that race is any better than any other races. In fact, actually, from a betting perspective, the other 3 races are probably better. So I didn't want any more stake on the race, and I'm split between those two horses. So we've got 50p each way singles, Sharp Call, Port Louis and Safer Fad, and 70p, so this makes it around £11. Two 70p win singles on the two 10 to 1 shots. Sky I'm better because you'll get 4th place there and there, and I think everybody is 4 there. Alright, that is what I'm doing. I imagine I might be back in 24 hours. We might just keep it on. We'll see how we go. But win, lose or draw, it won't make a difference about whether I'm back. It's about whether I've got stuff on Thursday that I'm willing to play. And yeah, it's literally sometimes I say these things out loud and I'm like, people must be listening thinking, what is he saying? Like, he's literally just telling you the reasons not to back some of these horses. But there you go. You got to be in it to win it, and I absolutely back my star system in the long term. It's something I sort of developed to help me refine the horses last year, which to be fair was a bad year for me, but by the end of it I was quite happy with where I got to with what I was doing with the system. Refined it at the sort of the basically at the end of the year before the start of this year, made some tweaks to it and stuff, and it's doing well so far, because bear in mind most of what I shoved you out for Cheltenham didn't hit the star system. So since then we've been on a bit of a recovery mission, and I think we're down to like -11 for the channel now, up for April, which is very good, and up for the week, and -11 for the year. £11, that is where we're at, and we're putting £11 on, so we're going to be -22 worst case scenario after Wednesday. Alright, I'll stop babbling. You have a good one, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you very much. Bye bye.